The amount of editing time that Dylan's gonna have from all these bloopers because I mess up.
Vinyl community, welcome to another video with the Record Spinner, and look who is joining me for the first time in over a year. This is my best friend Chelsea. You know her as the Record Spinnerette, and it has been quite a long time since we last did a video together. This is the third of a sort of, not even a trilogy, a third of a series where she showcases her record collection, because it's thanks to my poor habits that got her into the realm of record collecting. And her collection has grown quite massively. You can't really see it here. Maybe you can see it here. There's literally stacks upon stacks of stuff that she has accumulated since then to show you guys. And I wanted to make it a point to get her back on the YouTube screen and have her show what she has gotten. But most importantly, and more excitingly, I should say, since the last time she has been featured on this channel, a lot has happened, and I'm gonna hand the microphone over to Chelsea to give you guys the scoop.
Well, I always love when you have me featured on your channel, so thank you so much. But as Dylan said, it has been a while, and since you last had me on the channel, a lot has happened. Last September, I got married to the absolute love of my life. It was out in Vegas that we went to wedding chapel, got married, went on our honeymoon afterwards, and of course, with a few special family members and friends, the Record Spinner was in attendance.
You guys remember when I went to Zia Records? You guys remember?
And more importantly, when you went to do the Kiss mini golf and you wore Gene Simmons boots. I mean, Dylan was living his best life. And then also earlier this year, my husband and I welcomed a baby girl. Her name is Topanga. She was supposed to be born this previous month, September, but she was born a few months early. So she's still in the NICU right now, thriving, of course, and we're hoping to have her join us and live with her parents and move in here this winter season. So hopefully for the holidays. Yeah. So a lot of big life changes for me. And so not only is Dylan known as the Record Spinner, but he's also known as Uncle Dylan too, because to know Dylan is to love him. He's a lifelong childhood friend of mine, and I'm so excited for when he gets to meet my daughter as well. So that's only $5. That's only $5. Hopefully you're not putting that into Topanga's cards. No, but we have a great time together, and we're so excited to get into it and just continue on and show you my collection. And it's a little bit all over the place, as you've seen before. If this is your first time viewing, go check out the first two videos and see the entire thing.
Somewhere around here. But
hopefully this will keep your interest and maybe have you find something new that you're interested in that you didn't know you wanted to check out. So shall we get into it?
Enough of the chit chat. Let's jump into what this video is all about.
Alrighty, so we have here Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me.
Groovy, baby.
Oh, I mean, Dylan and I have seen this movie 100 times.
We've rewatched it many times.
I mean, all three of them. This is one that we quote the most. I mean, if you've seen the movie, you know the iconic music, Burt Bacharach, Elvis Costello. They're featured in a few of the films. This has Madonna's Beautiful Stranger on it.
That was the banger on that one.
I just remember loving it. And of course, who can forget Dr. Evil's Just the Two of Us, the Dr. Evil mix from the movie. I was really sad that Vanessa was like killed off essentially in the beginning of the second movie.
Who taught me the beauty of monogamy was a fembot all along. Wait a tick. That means I'm single again.
And so I had to have this added to my collection. You have this in your collection.
Yes.
And so Dylan was very thoughtful and gifted me with this.
Yes.
Next we have is Avril Lavigne's debut album, Let Go.
Yes.
This is going back to about 23 years ago this was released. I know they just issued an anniversary
It was a 20th
edition.
Anniversary version, yeah.
So of course she's known for Complicated, Skater Boy. Those were two of the main hits that went big back in the day. I mean, Avril Lavigne is just iconic. If you see her today, she looks like she hasn't aged a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it didn't matter what you're into. I think even though they, you know, had her against Britney at the time, Britney Spears was the queen of pop, and then you have Avril Lavigne, who was the complete opposite with this really goth, hot topic look at the time.
Mm-hmm.
It was just awesome. And then also I have added Avril Lavigne, Under My Skin, to my collection. This was just so wonderful. This came out, I believe, 3 years later, and it was most known for My Happy Ending, Don't Tell Me. This was when she started, I think, slowly transitioning to like this punk princess. You can see the tutu, just kind of getting a little bit more of that femininity out there before Girlfriend and all that came out in 2007, where you started seeing her more in
Was that
pink.
2007?
Yeah.
Oh my god, shit.
Yeah. I have added this, and is there anything else you want to say?
I'm just shocked by the fact that it's a music on vinyl pressing and it's priced at $28.98. Like, you don't see those prices anymore on music on vinyl pressings.
No, shout out to Sky Valley for having affordable pricing, and as always, a great selection to choose from. Something that's relatively new that is very important to me is Kelsea Ballerini's Rolling Up the Welcome Mat. She put this out earlier this year. It was about a 20-minute video on YouTube, kind of saying the chapters 1 through 5, really retelling what her marriage looked like. She recently was divorced, and this hit home for me because I actually did get divorced a couple years ago, and so anyone who has experienced separation or a divorce, I think Kelsea Ballerini really has a great way of really striking those chords, but I think she just has a great way of capturing the feeling. And this is the picture disc with her laying in bed and then also sitting by the pool in the interlude section of the music video. So I would definitely recommend checking it out. Penthouse is probably the most popular song.
Is it?
It's become just a little bit more of a catch, and she pressed this version of it and added Leave Me Again, another version to it, another song, because at first, you know, people were just kind of listening, getting into it, and then when it really caught on and people knew what the story was that was being told, it just, the fans were saying, we need more.
Sure.
And so,
interesting.
She got it. Next we have Big Red Machine. It's the Nationals' Aaron Dessner and Bon Iver's Justin Vernon. This was new. This came out, I want to say, in 2021.
2 years ago, yeah.
And Taylor Swift is my favorite artist. And
don't hit unsubscribe. Don't hit it.
I know there's a lot of stuff that Dylan listens to in here too, I promise. And she's featured on 2 songs, Birch and Renegade. And I love it. Also, I have added Brant Bjork.
Correct.
There's a joke because in a previous video or something that I was featured on for a small segment,
Bjork?
I said Bjork. Well, I absolutely love this. I put this record on when I'm cleaning the house, when I am doing the dishes, just anytime I need to clear my head. If it's a blustery day out, it's just light a candle, relax, and unwind. 2 of my favorite tracks on here is Too Many Chiefs, Not Enough Indians, and also Let's Get Chinese Eyes. I really think that if you listen to it, you would want this added to your collection. I guarantee it.
We're gonna have to fire up the turntable after the cameras stop
I
rolling.
Here's a fun little fact for all of you longtime subscribers of Dylan, is that Dylan and I actually grew up in the same town, going to primarily the same schools. What brought us together, our friendship, was Dylan actually had an extra ticket to a Christina Perri concert, and he invited me and said, you know, if I wanted to go with him. And this was back when Facebook was pretty new, MySpace era was still booming. We definitely knew who each other was just based on other mutual friends and just going to the same schools and hangout spaces. So there was no catfishing, no stranger danger here. It was awesome. And so obviously I said yes, I would love to see Christina Perri. You know, Christina Perri is most known for Jar of Hearts, her really earlier Love Strong album that came out about over a decade ago.
Yeah.
And since then, she's really embraced motherhood and her daughters and her family. And so a lot of the material she puts out now are albums for her daughters. And what we really got lucky is A Lighter Shade of Blue. What do you have to say?
It's definitely part of the continuation between Love Strong, her debut, Head or Heart, which was the second record, and then there's that. And then, of course, you have like the kids' albums sort of in between.
Yeah.
But definitely a natural progression. Definitely, I'd say her most mature record, I would say, just given what she has dealt with in life and how it kind of relates to her artistry.
Yeah.
Definitely is a solid listen. I feel like this went under the radar for most fans of the older material that kind of maybe fell off the bandwagon. So if you hear the name and you see the album out there, it's definitely worth exploring.
Yeah. Someone who might be new to a lot of people is Clairo. She put out this album called Immunity. One of the best songs on here is Bags. And it's essentially just very singer-songwriter, easy listening.
Okay.
I mean, look how cool. The back of the cover is like this 60s pink sink. If you ever go over like your grandparents' house, or you remember from like way back when, it'd always be like either all pink tile or like all blue tile, blue everything. So it's just very unique, and I think you would really like it.
I've heard bits and pieces of Clairo's work. It's just a matter of doing the deep dive and just going all in.
Yeah. We have Coyote Ugly. I am so happy. This is a Walmart exclusive. Coyote Ugly is special in the sense that there's a bar in Nashville called Coyote Ugly. It was closed during the pandemic. Dylan and I took separate trips that were there in Nashville at the same time 2 years ago, and Nashville has such a special place in my heart. I would move there in a heartbeat if I could, but it's just a really great movie. It's, I think, again, like early 2000s.
Yeah.
And the soundtrack is awesome. Can't Fight the Moonlight by Leanne Rimes is in it, so that's really when it was really noteworthy on the radio and things like that. But I had to add it to my collection, just because it's just so cool. And it's cherry red vinyl.
Matches the neon in the title.
Dylan, please address this beautiful vinyl.
So, very much how Christina Perri was the artist of our time growing up. Our recent favorites is Hazel English, great indie pop artist, originally from Australia, then relocated to Los Angeles. And this is her latest as of filming, latest EP called Summer Nights. And what's great about this particular vinyl pressing is that it was only made available in Japan via P-Vine vinyl. So obviously you see that there's the Obi strip there. And it's actually a genuine piece of Japanese vinyl. It's not pressed in Europe or the States and then imported to Japan for import purposes. That is a genuinely pressed record from Japan.
And it's very rare for me to listen to an album in its entirety and really love every song. You know that. That's why I'm very particular about my record collecting, is I need to have an album that either has such a special song that I must have it, or the album in its entirety means something. And when Dylan played this for me last year, I remember I instantly started dancing around your room. I loved it so much. Every single song on here is fabulous. My two favorites are 9 Stories and When You're Around. Hazel English is like no other artist, and you know, she is just so kind, and Dylan had the pleasure of interviewing her a while back, and you know, we follow each other on Instagram, which is really cool. So Hazel English is just so wonderful, and she's, you know, constantly putting out more music. If you like the Goo Goo Dolls, she just put out her cover of Slide, and it's definitely an artist to check out for sure.
100%.
Now this heavy.
This monolith.
Yeah, this heavy thing here. This is John Mayer. This is his album Live in Los Angeles, Where the Light Is. This is just really cool because this has like his acoustic band that was playing with him. He did a phenomenal cover of Free Falling by Tom Petty, and he also has a song, In Your Atmosphere, he played on here. I mean, he did all of his early hits. Neon, Waiting on the World to Change, Why Georgia, Slow Dancing in a Burning Room. It was just really so insanely wonderful. I scored this on urbanoutfitters.com and saw that this was imported from the UK.
Yes.
And it looked like there was only one copy available because as soon as I bought it, it was off the site immediately.
That's sweet.
I've asked for this particular next album for a while, and Dylan is just phenomenal and lucky and scored this for me. This is Julie London, Love on the Rocks. I drive my husband Eric crazy.
What does he even say?
With this, I'll play this and he'll like the intro and he'll get into it, and then as soon as she starts singing, he's like, oh, this is so old. And I'll have to try to like sneak a like footage of him, saying it. But Julie London, I just love it. It's one of my favorite songs off this album is The End of a Love Affair. She also has a song called Nice Girls Don't Stay for Breakfast, Black Coffee. This is just very sultry, Judy Garland-esque. It's really a staple, and I can only hope that this can rub off on Dylan, that maybe you'll get into it. But I think that it's a little too maybe targeted for a female demographic that I don't know if necessarily resonate.
I think I can appreciate the craft. I think so. Kraft mac and cheese.
I was gonna say, really? Next I have Kacey Musgraves' Pageant Material. I'm not only a huge Kacey Musgraves fan, but also very fortunate to get this. This was gifted to me from Marican, who is part of the youngest members of the VC. It's one of Dylan's great friends who he often goes on the yearly vlogs with, along with Emma and Jared and Jenna.
That's right.
It was a really thoughtful gift. This is Kacey's earlier work, country roots. What's really nice about this is that this is pressed on exclusive gold nugget vinyl.
Ooh.
So this is just really, really nice, and it's a great sophomore album for Kacey Musgraves. And definitely one to have to your collection if you are a Kacey Musgraves fan. Kacey Musgraves Star-Crossed. You have a copy of this, Dylan.
Thanks to you.
I got this for you. Very similar to Kelsey Ballerini, Kacey Musgraves had released Golden Hour, which was an album, really celebrating her marriage, how happy she was. And unfortunately, her marriage didn't work out. She got divorced and put out Star-Crossed. And this one is signed by Kacey herself. My dad was able to score this for me. I have just the regular pressing from her website, I believe on turquoise vinyl.
I believe so.
They released a few different variants, but it's just so beautiful.
I love the double opening single jacket.
And you can see her crying here where it says, "And then the darkness came." And what's really unique about her album is that it's very cathartic in the way that this is an album you have to listen to in order start to finish. It's truly telling a story in its sincerity, whereas it's kind of going through the 5 stages of grief, where you're reflecting on something that happened and then eventually at the end coming to terms with it. She does a really beautiful cover of Gracias a la Vida, which was actually a song where someone sang like thank you, for life, and then committed suicide. So it's a little dark, but in the sense this is just very healing, very therapeutic. I know your favorite song is Cherry Blossom.
Of course, still is. I was just looking at the track list. I'm like, oh, here it is.
The one song that really made the radio a lot was called Justified. So I'm sure you've probably heard that. What I really love off this album is probably Keep Looking Up. It's a perfect song to take a long drive to.
Sure is.
But I would definitely say, if you haven't listened to this already, do yourself a favor, give it a listen. Kurt Vile.
The man.
The myth.
The dude.
The legend. This was actually the Record Spinners.
It was my old copy, and then once I got the colored vinyl anniversary press, I was like, instead of just selling it off or trading it, should go to a nice home.
And Kurt Vile is a Philly resident. I would love one day to see him in concert with the Record Spinnerette.
I still need to. I've been a fan for so long and I've yet to see him.
And he's one of my favorite artists. I was telling Dylan earlier today that I'm so grateful you introduced me to his work because, you know, initially I thought it was a different kind of genre of music, and his music has slowly become some of my top favorite songs. This next record is very, very special. It's Kenny Loggins at the Movies. He's currently on his This Is It tour, his final tour. For Father's Day, I got my dad VIP tickets for a meet and greet to see Kenny Loggins at the Beacon Theater in New York City. And he had this as part of the VIP experience, was having signed vinyl. You know, his hits, Danger Zone, Footloose, I'm Free, Forever. Kenny Loggins also has, you know, the album Return to Pooh Corner. So, you know, Kenny Loggins is one of my dad's favorite artists. I remember him telling the story of how Kenny shook his hand and he hasn't washed it since. So it was just really special, and the fact that I was able to get my dad meet and greet tickets just was the awesome experience for him, and it meant the world to me. So love Kenny and can't wait to play this for Topanga when she comes home.
This one I'm shocked about.
Miles Davis. Yeah, he has Freddie Freeloader on this. What surprises you about this?
I don't know. It's just the fact that it was on your Christmas list. And I was like, wow, Miles Davis?
My birthday list, actually.
Was it birthday? I thought it was Christmas.
Mm-mm.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, it was birthday.
I really appreciate jazz, and on Pandora Radio, I have a station called Spooky Symphonies and Rainy Day Jazz, and I don't know what it is. Maybe it's something that you weren't aware of, but I love listening to this. It's very soothing to me when I work. I have like Rainy Day Jazz on YouTube playing. So
it's the way to go.
Miles Davis is just a staple, and I love it. And I'm sorry that I'm a little bit more musically cultured than you. Next up, I have Norah Jones, Come Away With Me. This is like from maybe 2001, 2003.
Early 2000s.
It's, you know, very early on. This is the most iconic for Don't Know Why.
Yeah.
Again, really easy listening, good rainy day album to put on. Norah Jones is just so soothing. I also have Olivia Rodrigo's Sour. This was her debut album. It went viral during like COVID 2020 pandemic for Driver's License. You know, this is really kind of like a, you know, breakup album, very sad. And then earlier last month, she released her second sophomore album, Guts. This is a little bit more edgier, kind of a mature album. As you can see, both of her albums are purple, but in a lot of her music videos, she's starting to go to the color red. So I feel that, and a lot of other fans are speculating that her next album is going to go from purple to red. That's showing that it's more mature, she's older. Really a noteworthy song on here is All American Bitch and Get Him Back. This is very reminiscent of Paramore's,
Is it Riot?
Yes.
Cool.
This is very reminiscent of Paramore's Riot, very like girl band in the 2000s. A little bit of the attitude of Gwen Stefani, no doubt.
Totally, yeah.
But just, it's a good listen. One that I have that has the Goodwill sticker just slapped on there is Steve Winwood's Back in the High Life. Higher Love has been my favorite song from Steve Winwood for a very long time, as well as The Finer Things. I've always loved like the 80s, 90s, you know, sound.
Yeah.
Dylan knows this, like from growing up, like I was obsessed with like all John Hughes movies and anything 80s, so much so that I had to marry someone who was born in the 80s. I know Goodwill is normally the hub for like Barbra Streisand,
Engelbert Humperdinck.
Yeah, Steve Winwood. But you know what? I took a look at this, said, "Hey Dylan, like, does this look like this is in good shape?" And he was like, "Yeah." So, as you can see, for $2.49, why not? We have Stevie Nicks' Stand Back. This is a Walmart exclusive. This really features her solo career with a lot of her highlights, such as Edge of 17, Stand Back, Dreams, Gold Dust Woman. I absolutely love Stevie Nicks. She released a Barbie doll of herself.
I did.
And I want it. All the pre-orders sold out.
Really?
When I tell you that my style has always been very bohemian, I mean, I named my daughter Topanga. Like, Stevie Nicks kimonos and her whole aura has always been something that I just loved.
Yeah.
I mean, I was almost going to name Topanga Rhiannon.
She did actually say in a previous video, if she ever had a daughter, she would name her Rhiannon, but history is rewriting itself.
Exactly.
All right, Swifties, get ready for this. Heavy Swift load coming up right here.
Yes. Now, this you've probably seen online everywhere. This is the first box set bootleg.
That's right.
And this is my first bootleg.
This sounds like me when I started buying up bootlegs.
And I'm so excited because for me, this is like part of the holy moly wall, even though it's pretty reasonably priced.
But still, that is holy moly wall worthy.
Thank you. And I mean, this has I Don't Want to Live Forever on it. This has Last Christmas. This has Crazier, the song she sang in 2007 in the Hannah Montana movie. So what's really unique is that this has all different songs from all of her different albums and a few songs that were featured that I don't believe ever were on vinyl or even on any album.
Have yet to be made available on vinyl too.
Yeah. So it's really insane that I have this. It's a colored vinyl box set and it has exclusive graphics inside. Is there anything you'd like to add to this, Dylan?
And to think that, you know, there's a Taylor Swift bootleg greatest hits box set out there, fans will pony up. They will.
We also have Taylor Swift's Beautiful Eyes. So if anyone remembers, if you were an original Swiftie back in 2006, this EP came out at Walmart and it went for maybe $6 or $7.
On CD?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
And now people are reselling it for $100 plus Wayward. This is again another bootleg, but again the fact that we are able to get this, it just means so much to me. You know, obviously bootlegs may not be as crystal clear and perfect as the original, but what makes it so special is if you're just a fan of any artist, just being able to have this to your collection just for sentimental reasons is just cool within itself. So I think that there is definitely an appreciation for bootlegs and, you know.
Speaking my language. This is my language right here. See, everything that Chelsea just explained is what I relate to because, of course, if you watch me, I'm the collector of all things Kiss bootleg related. And just the fact that I could own a crummy audience recording from 1976 just to have it means so much. And the same can be said with having something like this for the Swifties out there.
Exactly. I mean, the fact that we're able just to have something that someone created and it be, you know, somewhat, you know, presentable for us to use, you know, why not have this until something official comes out? But even still, it's...
Exactly.
I
This is my language.
I'm speaking the language, but it's just, it's really cool to see that. So Taylor Swift announced her album Midnights. It's her 10th studio album. Coincidentally, the day that this is being filmed is 1 year since Midnights came out. I'm also wearing the Midnights hoodie. I have every variant of this. She released 4 variants on her website, which actually make a clock. So I have all 4 variants, the Jade, Moonstone, Blood Moon, and Mahogany. Yes, thank you. This is actually the bootleg version because this actually has the bonus tracks. Nowhere on any vinyl yet does Midnights in its entirety. With her true track list and the bonus tracks, The Great War, Bigger Than the Whole Sky, Paris, High Infidelity, Glitch, Would've, Could've, Should've, and Dear Reader. So again, a bootleg, but a bootleg nonetheless with some of my favorite bonus tracks. So if you're able to get your hands on this, please, you do yourself a favor, because I'm going to predict right now that the bonus tracks, it's going to eventually become a record store day exclusive. It has to be. Point. And also, for you Swifties, you know that Taylor's version is coming out. Taylor is re-recording all of her old material that was stolen from her. You know, she's reclaiming her masters by going back and recording the albums that she had released when she was under Big Machine Records. So this is Fearless Taylor's version. It was the first of her re-records to come out 2 years ago. And it's just wonderful to hear how her voice has matured.
Yeah.
And for her first 3 albums, she had a little bit of that country twang. And so hearing how she sounds now compared to 16 to now at like about 33, it's wild that she's recording, you know, re-recording the songs that, you know, went double platinum and was, you know, the best-selling country music album at the time in 2008. I remember hearing people sing Taylor Swift in middle school, and I'm like, who is that?
Yeah.
And so it's really, you know, a full circle moment. And she also has come out with Speak Now, Taylor's version. This was hyped for about a month.
It was brief.
It was a quick era, as we call it. You know, she released a few additional songs from the vault. One featuring Hayley Williams from Paramore, one with Fall Out Boy featuring on it. So it was nice to have some of her friends collaborate. Of course, another version I had to add to my collection, as well as Red Taylor's version. Very heavy. This has 30 songs on it.
4 LPs.
And so I remember when I saw the price, I was like, holy crap, $50.
But 4 LPs for $50 is actually a decent value for your money.
And I can't wait for 1989 Taylor's version to come. I may or may not have about 5 variants coming my way.
Now we get to some collector territory.
So we have here Taylor Swift Live from Paris. This was put out on Valentine's Day as an exclusive for only a few hours. Now this sold out within minutes. This is being resold for, you know, $300 to $500 online. It's 2 records here in the heart-shaped pastel, purple, lavender, and blue. What's really fabulous is this has Cornelia Street, Death by a Thousand Cuts. You know, she's performed live, but this is just really something that was so well respected and just so special that when Taylor released this on Valentine's Day, we were all in shock. But what's really sweet about Taylor is that as an artist, she's really listening to the fans and hearing what it is that we're wanting and asking for, and then, you know, giving it to us. So if you were able to snag a copy of this, I'm so happy for you. As I've learned more about the different types of records you can collect, what's really cool is this is Taylor Swift's Me, featuring Brendan Urie of Panic at the Disco. I am personally not a huge fan of the song Me. You know, if there's a song that's played over and over on the radio too much, it kind of grates on you where it's like, yeah, I'll skip the track.
Yeah.
But this is very cool because it has Taylor in her Lover era, and on the back of Brandon and Taylor together. So I had to add this to my collection just for collector's sake. Now, what's really awesome is...
This is dedication right here.
Yeah.
See this? Here, I'm going to show the spines. Proceed.
So, I have always enjoyed Taylor Swift. One of my best friends, Nicole, she is like one of the biggest Swifties ever. And when Taylor surprise dropped Folklore in 2020, this was a turning moment in my life where it just really resonated with me. I felt like it just fit everything that I was about to go through and didn't know it yet. And this was just around the time where Dylan had gifted me my first vinyl, which was the Target version of Folklore, the Meet Me Behind the Mall edition. And it was my first vinyl ever. And at the time, Taylor was releasing, you know, the Cardigan, all of the variants online. This was kind of when she first started to do so many different variants and covers.
That's
and
when the start of it.
And I didn't buy any of them at the time, only for the fact that I wasn't really itching to buy vinyl. It was still very new. I was still getting into collecting and understanding what that was. But as I've, grown to appreciate vinyl collecting, I had to go back and find every variant. So I have the In the Trees edition. This is Stolen Lullabies, Betty's Garden, Clandestine Meetings.
The fact that she knows like the variant titles from the covers is very impressive.
Running Like Water, In the Weeds. I may have messed up just with one, but I think that this is Stolen Lullabies.
Okay.
And what's really cool about this is we're still waiting, just like we know that Karma is the scrapped, the lost album that came between 1989 and Reputation. If you turn up the contrast on this here, you can see in this corner that it says Woodvale on it.
Let me see.
Now, while Dylan looks at that, Taylor said in an interview that she wanted to see what Folklore would look like on the cover without giving away Folklore was the title, so she put Woodvale on there. Now, based off of merchandise and things like that, people are speculating that along with Folklore and Evermore, that Woodvale is the trilogy, the third lost album. So, with Taylor, there's always Easter eggs. Nothing is ever unintentional. So when I saw that, I was like, wow, that's really cool. But yeah, it wasn't easy to get all of these. I was definitely hunting down resellers and going on Discogs and Mercari and Poshmark and eBay. So to get, I think, 8 variants, it was hard work and definitely done over a period of months. But it's my favorite album and I love it so much. And
I've said it once and I'll say it before just to allude to what Chelsea was saying about the Swifties and all the clues and such. You guys are better than a homicide investigation team. It's the God's honest truth.
Well, and then next up, the Cardigan picture disc. Oh, I love it. Taylor. And then also we have the picture disc of Christmas Tree Farm. Look at little Taylor. I love her. It's just so joyful and happy. And there's speculation that she might be recording another Christmas album. And then going back to Midnight's, I also have the Target Lavender Marble edition. And then I also have the Midnight's Love Potion edition. So this is technically the Canadian version. It's slightly darker purple than the lavender. It was on Taylor's website. It was unbeknownst to fans until they started doing research and like, hey, this is just the Canadian version. But still, it's part of the collection nonetheless. So 6 versions of Midnight's. Now
here's a golden goose.
This was from Record Store Day. And I was so lucky that I was able to get a copy of this. Now, I have manifested this into existence. This is Taylor Swift, Folklore, The Long Pond Sessions Edition. When this came out to Disney Plus a few years ago, I can't tell you how many times I've watched it and how much of a good sport you were with how special it was to me and watching it together. Taylor literally goes through all the songs, playing them with both Aaron Dessner and Jack Antonoff, and also gives you insight into what the songs are about and the story and whatnot. This is so highly coveted that
honestly it is.
It goes for so much money online. And out of all the songs on the Long Pond edition, The Last Great American Dynasty, hearing that piano so raw.
That version I would say is superior on that live album.
It is. We also have
total change of pace here.
I got into Todd Rundgren because my mom had introduced me to him. There's 2 songs that are our favorites, I See the Light and Hello It's Me.
Of course.
And so Hello It's Me is just so special and such a tender song. And I know that he's obviously has so many more hits. And does everyone remember Now That's What I Call Music? This is called Now That's What I Call 90s Alternative Rock. And this is available at Target. And this has the Gin Blossoms, Hello Jealousy, Inside Out by Eve 6, My Own Worst Enemy by Lit, If You Could Only See by Tonic, what else? Third Eyed Blind, Semi-Charmed Life.
You got Lightning Crashes by Live, Interstate Love Song by STP, No Rain by Blind Melon. Damn, that's really solid, actually.
Remember Steal My Sunshine?
Yeah.
And Vertical Horizon, Everything You Want. I loved that song growing up. Please, Dylan, introduce this.
This is Vashti Bunyan, Just Another Diamond Day. This is actually an album that Chelsea actually made me aware of, and I was actually kind of shocked because this is one of those, if you're a real like crazy record head, originals of this go for thousands of dollars. It's one of those kind of albums where an artist only did one and kind of disappeared, and that's kind of the case with this. It's just a great British folky kind of album. Honestly, I imagine like just going through like the English countryside while listening to it. It's such a beautiful record. And when she was telling me about it and I saw that there was an inexpensive reissue out, I was like, you know what? It's gotta happen.
Walk Around in Your Mind. That's the most noteworthy on this album that I love.
Okay.
And I believe that's the one I played for you, but it is just so relaxing, like Dylan said, and it really does make you feel like you're, you know, in Ireland or somewhere in the far countryside on vacation.
Yeah.
What I also have is a Charlie Brown Christmas. If you've seen any of the Charlie Brown specials for the holidays, the music is just so happy and joyful. And I had this on during the holidays last year as I was decorating and for our Christmas dinner gathering that Dylan was at along with our families. And what's so cool about this little guy,
cool.
yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Is that it's a picture disc of Charlie Brown, Lucy and Linus, and on the back, Lucy and Schroeder. Looking at 7 inches, when I was collecting all of my variants for Folklore, I got my hands on Taylor Swift Should Have Said No. Now, this is a limited number of only 4,000 that were released.
That's low.
And this is 3,362. So this has Should Have Said No, live acoustic version, and just the regular. But as you can see, it is numbered. And Should Have Said No is my favorite song off her debut album. So I just love it. And the shows from her performance when she had the rain on her.
Yeah.
It was just insanely cool. I believe I got this when Taylor Swift had her Black Friday deals on her website. I was able to score the 7-inch of the Cardigan and Songwriting voice memo. And so this was just perfect to add to the collection. I'm still on the hunt for Picture to Burn, Our Song 15 of the 7 inches. Those go for quite a bit more money, and I'd probably have to really either eventually bite the bullet and spread that out sporadically.
Or hit the jackpot and use it wisely.
The last 7-inch that I wanted to share is probably the most special record that I own. This is not any artist. You may have seen it on one of Dylan's previous videos, but when I had gotten married to my wonderful husband Eric, who I love and adore so much, a wedding gift that Dylan had given to Eric and I, my husband, was when Dylan was present at our wedding, he got on vinyl my husband and I's our vows to each other. And this is a picture from us outside of the chapel. And what is so special about it and so thoughtful about what Dylan did for me was that when you check it out, we have side A and of course side B. Side A is my husband talking on the little picture part of the disc, if that makes sense.
On the label, yeah.
And when you see him talking on this side, it means he is sharing his vows. And on the opposite side, where I'm speaking and my mouth is open on the picture, I'm saying my vows. So the fact that I heard this and I'm getting choked up just thinking about it, but the fact that I have something like this, who can say that their vows are on vinyl? So, you know, the holidays are coming up, and I think that that's such a unique and creative idea. So if you have any audio of a special occasion, maybe a family member, friends, or even someone that you know just loves vinyl collecting, why not get something special? I mean, we went through the era of, you know, video cameras and recording tapes, but being able to play something like this, I cherish this so much, and this is seriously so special. So we have that there.
Little fun fact with that particular record, I remember I initially like sparked the idea while sunbathing at the pool at Caesar's Palace, and her parents were there too. We were staying at the same hotel, and I was like, Jen, I have an idea.
And that's how it all started.
A couple months later, there it is. Wow, this was a marathon. But you know what? So many people have asked like for when you were going to come back, and other people have loved the videos that we did in the past, that it's like the annual thing to get you included in the channel for rotation.
Well,
so
it means so much, as always. I appreciate you always thinking of me and wanting me to share my collection.
Of course.
It was so sweet of you from the beginning just to, get me into your hobby, from not only, record collecting, but then to joining you on your channel. So I'm just really grateful, and I appreciate you guys for taking the time to listen to me share my collection. I know it's a little all over the place, from Taylor Swift to Todd Rundgren to Kenny Loggins to Miles Davis.
But you know what they say, variety is the spice of life.
So thank you so much for watching this video. Please like it, subscribe, leave a comment, follow Dylan on all of his other socials, the Record Spinner, to follow all things record spinning. And as always, keep the record spinning.
Gotta love it.